We're going to get this made at the size of our ever-shrinking chair. Okay, so, fine, it is what it is.
You need to run a little campaign or something.
I guess so, yeah. Well, everybody. I think a lot of people, the time was bad for them.
I know that Eliezer, they went away on the field with the graybeards.
Oh, you want the graybeards and Don one today, you have to go to, what did you go up? Okay, listen, it is what it is. So Sunday morning I do a quick review every time, so we'll do a quick review here. It's important, the review is important. So, John, tell me, base reminds us of a bias, and the simon for that base is a bite with?
Honey.
Thank you.
What's that there?
You're needed. You're needed.
It's bread with a salt on it.
Okay.
Yes, the ani eating his
Lechem.
right, his dinner of bread and
Salt.
yes, right.
Because of the time, it's all pointed that. And Cohen.
Yeah.
Someone's on the Cohen show.
Standing on the ani's head, saying creation,
Right.
because that's the top base talking about the mission of creation. And we're trying to reconcile at the same time. You need to see a picture.
I need the picture.
You need the
It's
picture.
one like the other day. I can
Yeah.
tell you the one that you drew the other day.
Yeah.
Of the woman, with the chuppah and the 3 candle, the menorah.
Right.
That I saw it. I have it.
Right. So I have pictures in, I know. I learned. I know. Okay, Zusha. So tell us now. Gimel reminds us of a. Well,
Three
our
camels.
simon is we have 3 camels. What are they doing?
Oh, the dove.
You realize you get the next chance. You can tell. That's what I'm thinking.
Love it.
I feel like I'm back in MPA again.
That's funny.
So yeah, 3 camels, 1 carrying a lion and a dove.
Right, along with
That's to remind us of what? Remember, yeah?
Yeah, it's to remind us of the sounds that are made.
Right, he roars like a lion every night 3 times over the base of Mikdash, and like a dove. Who's like a dove? He does both. That's like the same camel. Second camel is carrying. Oh, Navi. What's he doing over there? What did you remember? Navi and Dov Gimel. He met Rabbi Yossi there at the Churba, at the ruin, and said, "What are you doing, Dov? It's like Churba. It's dangerous."
Dangerous.
Should have stood outside and davened a short prayer, and then the third camel is carrying. What's he doing there in Dov Gimel? It started out, it's a little tricky because he spans on the Dal also. Along the way, we had tried to figure out if there were 3 or 4 watches a night. There were proofs. It must be, one side was, there must be 4 because it says David got up at midnight and he was getting up Ashmuros early. So we said, oh, David, midnight, how did David know what midnight was? Even Moshe didn't know what midnight was. And so, David had a keynote over his bed and woke him up. And we said, at midnight, wait a second, I thought he got up in the morning and he didn't even go to bed at night. He was already from the beginning of the night, from Neshef, from twilight, he was already doing his thing. So we said, oh yeah, well, and give the 3 answers. Either he was Mesnanim. The first answer was he sometimes slept from onset of night. He was always up at midnight. Some said he's Mesnanim Kasus, he was dozing, and sometimes says he just never slept. He just first half of the night he was learning, the second half of the night he was singing, whatever it was. But that was David Melech. That's what he's on. Right. Dalet reminds us of a
Delet.
There's a door, and our picture is
The Gula.
That's
Spanning
right.
the Gula to the Beit HaMikdash.
that's right from Gula neighborhood down to the Kotel, right? And
And David is standing on top of the Delet with Theus.
very good. David standing on top, dressed up as a chassid, in his chassid costume. Because why? So the Delets, because of Dalet. What's from Gula and Tefillah? What was on over there? Gula to the base of Mikdash. But a bit of a technical sugi there was involved about the issue of being so much gula, tefillah,
Right.
and the issue of it's a little more complicated, but it's quite technical. about if they Chazal and Masakin that the Kriya Shema should bookend your day with 3 tefillos in the middle,
Right.
or if it should be like that, as we dive in, it's Shacharis after
Right.
Kriya Shema and Marav after Kriya Shema. In any case, yeah, so that was that. And then what's the Davar Melech in the Chassid costume? To remind us of? Remember? Davar Melech dressed up as a Chassid?
We kind of be a chassid that he was mindful of the time. When to
He
do
said, all right, cousin.
That's right, exactly. Davar Melech says, am I not a Chassid? And we
Yeah.
talked about that interesting thing. Yeshua, he didn't want to be tied up and be a regular, he wanted to be a special king, not a Goyish king that would be drawn in. And we had 2 versions of what his Chassidus was. Either got up at midnight, regular king would sleep to the morning.
He was delivering babies? Or?
He was being attacked. He was passing Nida Shilas. He was
Right.
being his Yadai,
Right.
Maluch Lachos, my hands are filthy, the dam, Shfir, Shilia, blood, amniotic sacs, and placentas. To be Matar Ish Lavala. Right, so that was David's Chassidus, one of those 2.
He said us to see if there were boys and girls.
Right, to decide it was, if she's Tamei at all, or if she would be Tamei, yeah.
And he gets up earlier than the regular kings.
Right, that was he got up early and learned a whole night long.
Right.
And I wanted to say, I do this, I'm sure, it's my case, but I'm sure I'm right. I'm sure it's Pasha. That it's Machlokas, what is the Iker Chassidus? Is it that he was like Ben on the Makom, he learned all night, king sleeps in, but he was up all night learning? Look how special his Chassidus was. Chassidus was other kings, Yoshua, Agudos, they sit in their cocktail parties and, they smoke cigars. But me, I'm busy dealing with, dirty underwear. It's like a different, Good. That was Dalit. Hey, Reuben.
haystack.
It's a haystack, and our haystack was
There
actually there.
was little pieces of hay that made it very uncomfortable for Rabbi.
Right, Yochanan. Who was trying to, what is he trying to do with the haystack?
Sleep?
Yeah, he's sleeping, he's saying creational Amita. That was it, right? Right. So let's remind us, Yochanan, he's there because Rabbi Yochanan featured large on the dot. Remember something he did there? Anything about Yochanan? Yochanan was so the suffering, that's the suffering, the poking, that was what became the theme. What happened was, I'll reconstruct it for you. We started like this. The we had Kriya Shema Lamita is a mitzvah to itself, aside from the mitzvahs of Shach Chazal. And we said at the end of the previous Amud, like it was Dalar base, we said if you say Kriya Shema Lamita, it keeps Mazikin away from you and Yisurin away from you. Boogeyman and demons, whatever they are, and suffering. So then we launched into this whole suffering issue about, it doesn't matter, we got there somehow, to suffering, and so then we started talking about, this suffering, even the Yisurin Shalala, even, we said that was a famous study there, it said if you see suffering headed your way, so you have to be in the Fash Peshba Masa, you have to try to figure out what you did wrong. And if you didn't find anything wrong, it must be Bittul Torah. If that doesn't make sense, it must be Yisurin Shalava. And then we said, Yisurin Shalava, what's that all about? We discussed it at great length. The Yisurin Shalava, suffering out of love, Rav Yochanan featured because A, he was a victim of it, right? He lost 10 children, and B, he visited a few different Amoraim and said like, enjoying your suffering, and they said, Lohen lo schar, I'm not enjoying the whatever purging beneficial effect they provide, nor the schar of accepting the ahava, so I don't want them. So he said, fine, give me your hand, and he made them all better, and then he got sick, and he couldn't get up, and we asked someone else to rescue him, and we said, well, why can't he do it himself? And we said, well, the chavush, the person in prison, needs someone from the outside to do the jailbreak, in chavush materes atzman based on surim, you can't get yourself out. So once he was sick, or despondent, whatever he was, he couldn't, he needed someone else to heal him. And then we went on to say he walked around with this is remember we met Billy Ezer and he was in a dark room, why are you crying? If you thought it's because you didn't learn enough, well don't worry, not everyone, it's an echad marv, echad mamit, as long as you, doesn't matter if you do a lot or little, what matters is it's in your heart, and if you feel like the person said this, you feel you sort of don't have enough of an estate to leave your family, well not everyone can be zoch at the 2 tables. And he said, no, I'm not crying, I'm crying because it's a beauty like yours, Rabbi Yochanan, that's our hero, is going to rot on the ground one day. He said, yeah, that's what we're crying about. They cried together. And eventually, Rabbi Yochanan healed them. So Rabbi Yochanan played large on the top. Suffering is the search of Ava. Krishna Amita, that's why he brought us back. That's this one. Good. That's Dalin. That's Hey. Vav.
The stick.
There, do you remember Vav?
Stick.
Stick. What's happened to the stick in our picture? I didn't try to draw the pictures for us. That's what you have to draw us. I'll give you the story. You're going to do the picture for us.
Ross, Zahara is chasing around the back of the shoal with a stick. He's chasing not the Mazikim.
Right, exactly. Very good.
Who are trying to dig up the fill-in because I can't remember, they know they're buried there or something?
No, because they heard that's where Hashem could be found.
They heard that's where Hashem could be found.
Right.
That's what's just
Excellent. Good. Yeah.
Where she a David.
Exactly right. So that was where Hashem could be found was like a major theme. We had where you daven, the 10, 3, 2, 1 story there. We had
running out of the Beit HaMikdash.
Exactly. Kovei Makom with Tfilah. So all these issues of where Hashem is not exactly right. So Zera was chasing the Mazikin with the stick because that was Don basically said Kriyash Malamita has two benefits: Yisurin and Mazikin. Yisurin was Dafei, Mazikin became Davav. And then we had the whole weird story about how to see them and who tried to see them and the recipe for what you put in your eye and you couldn't stand up to them if you knew they're all there and the thousands of them, etc. They could wear extra clothing, all that kind of stuff. That was the Mazikin. Then chasing Mazikin behind the base was behind the base on Knesset, remember?
what was behind it.
What was that in our picture?
You mean in what we learned?
Yeah.
You're not supposed to dive in behind the shoulder because it has the appearance that you're being sacrilegious, basically.
Right. You got your own God, your own religion to pray to.
Say again?
Like, so to speak, you've got your own God, your own religion to pray to.
You have to face the Beit HaMikdash.
Exactly. We said as long as that doesn't apply, but I said if you're facing the shul.
Beit Knesset.
Even if you're, I just want to speak out. That would come out even if you're facing the opposite direction. Like everyone facing Jerusalem, you're facing, Mecca, so to speak, because you're Babel, right? It doesn't matter. Because if you're facing the shul, you're identified with the shul. So you wish, so to speak, you wish to be with them as opposed to elsewhere. And like the story of Elio and Navi, or the Arab, or Elio and Navi dressed as an Arab, chop people's heads off for doing that. Right? Good. That, if you remember, that was the pasuk. There was Saviv Rashaim Saviv Yisalechun. Wicked people run around the back. That was Darshing that story. And then they ended up saying Krum's list with the Adam in that pasuk. It's a very weird pasuk. But then the Gemara spent a lot of time worrying about the second part of the pasuk. What's Krum's list? Taking the loft things and making them lowly, tefillah, changing colors, like this Krum bird, according to them, shot, embarrassing your creditor, all that kind of stuff. Then chasing the stick behind the base Knesset, the Mazikin. We're digging up Hashem's tefillin. What was that doing there?
That's when Moshe.
You're next, don't worry. Yeah.
When Moshe asked Hashem for this.
What's in Hashem's tefillin?
We're not there yet. We're not there yet. We're not there. Right? Exactly. We just had a simple question. We said, how do you know Hashem wears tefillin? Which is strange. Because actually, Hashem's tefillin was a topic of discussion. Quite great length. The bottom of Vav and Aleph, we talked about Hashem's tefillin, what's inside it, the psukim, the very big company. So we have the Ba'aretz, and it was, Hashem praises himself by the Jewish people. We said, yes, they do. And then he said he has 6 psukim, well, there's only 4 batim, resolve the whole story. What's in Hashem's tefillin?
Two of the chambers have 2.
Exactly right. So it's a whole story of what is Hashem's tefillin, exactly. And then we said where Hashem can be found, because that was an overarching theme of the daf. Where Hashem can be found, the 10.
Yeah, we found if there's 2 people to learn together,
Exactly.
etc., 10 people to daven together.
Exactly.
All that.
Remember we asked once in a while Hashem, one person by himself, Hashem comes with why 2? Because it's written down in the book. And if you have why 3, because that's a basic, he thought maybe it's just Shlomo Ba'alma, just making peace. But no, you're not. Why 10? Because Hashem comes first. If there's 10. And waits for them.
Waits for them. Right?
Good. That was Vav. Zion. David, give us Zion. Remember Zion? What?
Whoa.
Chair broke.
Yes.
Right, you're back.
Okay. Believe it or not, actually from my ankle. Of all things to hurt. Oh, that thing. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. Thank you. That was very dramatic.
Right.
Yeah, what? Bang my ankle hard.
Those plastic chairs are designed to say not to be around.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. True. Okay. Just buying time. Yeah, so Zion.
So it's a weapon.
Good.
And
is pointing a gun at David Miller. And it's the moment of anger, Hashem, what's that, 4 o'clock? Hashem is cursing.
Calling him names.
Calling him names.
That's important. The names is the yeah. Where was it happening? You're exactly right. Where was it happening? It's happening inside the Kodesh Kodashim. Right, very good. And then there's another part to the picture, which is, remember Moshe Rabbeinu was in the picture also. He was looking and he was saying, watching this terrible, sad scene of son, point gun and call name to his father, and saying, Tzadik Barala, why does bad things happen to the people? And telling David, you can fight against Rishon. I was like, well, then, yeah, so what does it remind us of? So, first of all, we have Avshalom. What's Avshalom and David? What's going on there? What was happening with David? Remember? You remember Avshalom and David? The Gemara said that Kasher Tarbus Ra, it's more difficult to deal with like a negative element in your household. A kid that went off the right can kill off the derech, not exactly that, but anyways, a child that's sort of not been socialized properly is worse, more difficult to the father than Magog. And then we said, and we were proofs of that, and we said, David Melech said when he heard that he's going to have someone from his home, he said, well, it's so terrible. Ma rabu tsaros alai. Why have I had so many tormentors attacking me? But he didn't seem so worked up by Gog and Magog. Then we said, actually what happened was that Avshalom was the one who rose up against David, and then David said, Mizmor David, and the Gemara asked why did it say, it should have said Kin David, David's laments. Why does it say David's, happy song about Avshalom rebelling against him? So we said, because he thought, when he heard from Shmuel it's going to be bad news, his household will rebel against him, thought it would be some Eved or a Mamzer who had no mercy on him, but no, once he found out it was his own son, he figured, okay, he'll have mercy on me, and Taka he did, and Avshalom ultimately, hesitated when he could have Achitopel told to get him, but he didn't, and then it worked out okay for David. That was David and Avshalom. So he's pointing a gun, because of Zion, at him in the base of Mikdash, in the Kodesh Kodashim. Why was the Kodesh Kodashim? Had that feature on the dot, remember? In the top of Zion or Aleph, we had a story in the Kodesh Kodashim. We said that Elisha, Rabbi Yishmael ben Elisha, the Kohen Gadol, had once went inside the Kodesh Kodashim on Yom Kippur, and Hashem appeared to him and said, Barchini b'ni, give me a blessing. Learn from there, you should take a birkas hayas lightly. A simple person is referred to you blessing lightly. That was that topic there. Then, so it's Avshalom pointing a gun at David in the Kodesh Kodashim in his moment of anger. So in the story, it's, I guess, Avshalom's moment of anger. But the moment of anger topic of the daf was the moment of anger fitting to the daf.
Oh, Hashem's moment of anger.
Right, exactly right. We were talking about, I said that over
It's very short
of
period.
Daf Zayin, exactly is Hashem's Hamhaga, and along the way we said that Hashem has a moment of anger, and we said, what are you talking about? Hashem gets angry? He said, yeah, he does get angry every day. For how long? How long is his moment of anger?
As long
It was, remember the Hebrew word? You remember the Hebrew word? Rega. Right, a rega, which means in second in modern Hebrew. Because the Gemara asks, how long is a rega? It gives two measurements. First time it says it's 1 over 58,888 of an hour, which is like a 16th of a second. Later on it says rega as long as it takes to say the word rega, which is like a quarter of a second or something. And it is when Hashem, for a blink of an eye, every morning, sometime the first 3 hours of the day, Hashem has a moment of anger when bad things happen. And you can spot it by putting a rooster by your bed and like watching for it when it stands on one foot and its comb turns white. Right. There's no red streaks in the comb. And Rabbi Yeshua Levi thought he'd use that technique to nuke one of his neighbors who was a Stuki driving crazy psukim. Then he discovered it's not a nice thing to do, right? Because he fell asleep. Indeed. And look at the chasadim that Hashem did for us, because the whole time that Bilam was out to get us, that moment never came. And if it would have, Bilam would have blasted us. Tosos asked, what could he blast us with? he said just the word kalem would be enough. Wipe them out, and that you can say in the moment of rega. Good. So that was the moment of anger. How we got on that topic for the record is kind of interesting and important. On Daf Zayin, we have Rabbi Yochanan saying things in the name of his two Rebbe. On Daf Aleph, you get the same things in the name of Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yochanan, Rabbi Yossi. And on the base of Daf Zayin, it was Rabbi Yochanan, Rabbi Shum Bar Yochai.
Right.
Coming up. So, and it's interesting that he said the same thing twice. On Daf Aleph, he said in the name of Rabbi Yossi, he said, you shouldn't be Matthias, try to calm a person down in his moment of anger. And then on Daf Beis, he said the exact same thing in the name of his other Rebbe. Interesting. Whatever the Torah says is interesting. And there the Gemara had said, Daf Aleph, how do you know? Because Hashem said to Moshe, give me a moment before you try to, until the moment passes, and then you can appease me regarding the Chet Egel. And the Gemara said, what? Hashem gets angry? That's the moment of anger. Anyway, so the moment of anger, calling him names. What was the names on Zion? What was the names on Zion? Reuven, right? We said Reuven, that was one of the names, right? We said Reuven, Rus, Reuven, my son, see my son like my father-in-law's son, Rus, whose name came because she was out of her David, who was Revaya, his shirs, Ishbachot, he was songs and praises, he sated Hashem, right? Any other name you remember? Started out by saying no one called Hashem by the name Yehuda. Yehuda was it up? Yehuda, yeah, Yehuda.
That was the first
Yes, that was the second one. The first one was no one called Hashem by the name of Adon until Avram came. Then we said, well, no one said Hoda'at Hashem until Leah came with Yehuda. Then we said Reuven, then we said Rus. And then the Gemara finishes off the name issue by saying, how do you know that Shema Guram, like that the name is called it? And the answer, there's a draft from Pasuk, Sam Shalom. Fine, good. That was called some names, his moment of anger with the names, and Moshe Rabbeinu was looking on, telling him, asking why do bad things happen to the people. What was that about? The daf. How did Moshe Rabbeinu asking?
One of the three things that he asked Hashem.
That's right. Moshe Rabbeinu asked for three things from Hashem. Either 2 out of 3 or all 3 were granted him. The Gemara comes out saying the first 2 again. The Gemara just gives very short shrift that Hashem should go with them in the desert after the Chet. That Hashem should have a Shekhinah just on Yisrael. Those are like by the by. And the third thing was he wanted to understand Hashem's ways. And I was explaining the issue of randomness, but anyways, Hashem's ways, and he requested what I wanted to know was why is there Tzadik Ralo, Tzadik Tolo, Rosh Ralo, Rosh Tovlo, and then Hashem answered different answers that more than like didn't deal with it very thoroughly, but basically said give a few pshatim. First pshat was it depends if he's his tzaddik ben tzaddik or not, and then we rejected that because we said the children not suffering for the good children will suffer for bad parents. We said okay, so it means tzaddik gomor, tzaddik eno gomor, and that was with the end of that sugya over there. And then we talked different things about like maybe Moshe didn't get all 3 answered after all because Hashem said you can't really know my face, and we talked about should he look, okay, that was that. And then finally David is telling Avshalom you can fight with Rishayim. What was that about? In the Daf Zayin, we said in Daf Zayin, remember anyone? It says Mutal Iskarot, you're allowed to fight with Rishayim. That's the word said. Bottom line, you said you're allowed to fight with Rishayim. If you see someone doing something wrong, you should take issue with them. And the Gemara said, hey, if someone says to you, doesn't another pasuk say, don't be such a zealous person? That's actually a guilty conscience. It doesn't mean the kin of the pasuk doesn't mean you shouldn't be like a kanoi, like a zealot. It means you shouldn't have kin. You shouldn't be jealous of his lifestyle. And then we went on to say, well, what if he's shamas chekeslo? What if he's on a winning streak? And we said, indeed, if he's on a winning streak, maybe you should steer clear with him, or maybe he's you're not such a tzaddik yourself, or maybe if what's the third thing?
Depends on what you're holding.
Yeah, what depends on your was either you're not the tzaddik gomor, or winning streak, or something else. I forgot now. The design base there.
Or if he's a chassid, or if he's a tzaddik, right?
Well, we're talking about fighting in Russia. Yeah, one issue was. Oh yeah, Mila D'Shmaim. It depends if the issue is a personal issue or Mila D'Shmaim. like God's cause, fighting God's wars. So that's that. Good. Fine, good. And finally, Daf Ches. Ches. So John said he remembers it, so we're going to call him on his love here. Daf Ches. A Ches reminds us of
The menorahs.
a Chanukiah.
Right.
Because not because of the, but because it's got 8. I don't know. Better for you. 8 branches. The menorah, Chanukiah. Right. So what's our picture?
The woman under a chuppah with only 3 menorahs. She's holding safer.
Right. That was the picture. So the word behind the picture was a guy who finds his wife under the chuppah, carried by the menorahs, and she's learning Shtein Mikra. That's the story. So what was that to remind us of? So we had 3 issues. We said the menorahs are the menorahs, but we said he's finding his wife. What was that about?
The matzah.
That's right. It started out by saying there's a pasuk that says you should pray. First, I'm not sure. The Gemara started out by saying in Eretz Yisrael, different kinds of weddings, the matzah weddings, the motza weddings. They used to ask, is it a matzah? Because one pasuk says matzah isha matzah tov. You found a woman, you found good, and one says motzi marmar mamas isha hazos. I find this woman more bitter than that. So that's motzi. And then we said, by the way, you should daven that you should find matzah is find. You should daven. You should find it when you need it. And what is it that you should be davening for? Either a wife, and other 5 different things you should daven for, proper burial, and so on. The preference of the Amoraim was find a bathroom. You should find a bathroom when you need it. That was the best answer. Fine. Today there were long lines. There's always long lines on Sunday. Here, basically. Anyways, so that was that. I was teasing because I saw Rabbi Sanders waiting for the bathroom. So I told him, I said, hey, you don't practice, you preach. So he got very offended. What are you talking about? I said, because when I was here, you taught them that they should be davening to find a bathroom when they need it. Obviously you didn't because you're waiting. Anyways. Yeah, so that's, one second. So yeah, so that's the finding the woman. So she's under a chuppah. That chuppah was 4x4. I squished that in there because the 4x4 chuppah, the idea was that it said Hashem is only found in the Dalet Amos of Halacha. So that's nice to squeeze it in there. You can the Shekinah being present with the lady under her chuppah. Hashem's found there. And then we said she's doing Shnai Mikra because there was a long talk there about the mitzvah doing Shnai Mikra, the mitzvah of Shnai Mikra, the Targum. Anybody remember what Siman in Or Chaim it is? I gave you another mnemonic back then. How to remember the Siman in Shulchan Aruch for the mitzvah of Shnai Mikra the Targum. I said it's Siman Reish Pei Hey. If your Hebrew's good enough. Rafa, Reish Pei Hey, means like repo, means like not having a good grasp of something. Yeah, not having a good, like repo they have like name. So, as I said, it's a mitzvah, flesh with a good grip on. Anyways, that's how I remember it. Yes, that was that. And 3 menorahs, not 4, is because there was a extra bonus part of the mnemonic. You remember the 3 menorahs holding up the chuppah. It's because there were actually many 3s on the daf. He kept on saying again and again and again, so-and-so taught these 3 things to his son. Or I like these 3 things about the Persians or the Deans, whatever it is. So there were lots of just ends there. How to eat, how to use the bathroom, eat sneezes, don't cut paint in your hand, don't don't marry Gyoras, don't sit on the bed of an Aramean woman. Don't sit on the bed of an Aramean woman, shut from there, and so on and so forth. Okay, good. That was the test. So now we're up to the test. Moving on. That was good. Good. Okay, so this next little piece here, it's short. I happen to be kind of technical, grammatical. To understand this next line of the Mishnah, we're holding in Daf Tes. I'm going to record it. I should record it. I suggest you start the recording like now. You know what I mean? Leza Mishul? I suggest now from the beginning, not the first half an hour review. It'll drive me crazy. Okay. So. Fine. So we're holding on the Tes Amud Aleph. Read the two dots there on line 24, where it says Hekter Chalav V'chulei. So again, that koteret, that headline tells you we're going back to the Mishnah again. And so the Mishnah's on the base Amud Aleph. Let's just look at it inside for a second. This is really truly a technical little piece here. To understand this piece of Gemara, unique type, the only way to really understand it is to have the Girsa in the Mishnah as the Mishnayos have it, not the Girsa we have in our Gemara. Which means that if you pick up from the words, let's say Maisa, so line 5 of the Mishnah, it says Maasa, once it happened, Uba'u Barim Bebeis HaMishteh, his sons, Rabbi Gamliel's sons, came from the party. Amru lo karina Shema, they said to him, their father, we didn't say Shema. Amr lehem, so he responded, Im lo ala amar shachar chayav netem likrot. If dawn hasn't broke yet, amar shachar, then you still have a chiyuv to read. Now, the next words of the Gemara say, V'lo zu bilvad, not only that. Now, the next word, Amru, should be taken out. If you don't take it out, it's Amru is taken out in the Girsa of the Mishnayos. If you don't take it out, it's very difficult to understand the next word, then how our Gemara on Daf Tes is going to make sense. But here the Mishnah says, not only that, but Kol Mash Amru Chachamim. Every time the rabbi said Chatzos, whenever they said till midnight, mitzvasen ad shi'ala amar shachar. Real mitzvah goes until the morning. So this is what the Gemara is bothered by. Again, it's technical. Let me just, so to speak, diagram how it's reading the Mishnah. The whole point of the Mishnah is revolving on this point. Let me tell you a grammatical point. Okay, rule number 1 when it comes to pronouns is, don't use them in Gemara. Sure, that's terrible. When you use pronouns are terrible. Pronouns like to be wishy-washy and not clear. Because pronouns take the place of the noun, and therefore you're not clear what you're talking about. But that's the real rule. That's my rule number 1 of pronouns. But the real rule number 1 of pronouns is that when you use a pronoun, pronouns of word it or he, she, or in the case of our Mishnah here, what we call demonstrative pronouns, like that or this. So the way to understand a pronoun, the proper way to understand a pronoun, is it refers to the noun, the antecedent, the noun that came right before it. And you're being a very sloppy writer if you use a pronoun and you're not referring to the noun immediately before. And I can come up with funny sentences for you, or you see it's confusing, but you shouldn't. You shouldn't do it. You can't use it. If you have 2 nouns in a sentence, so then you have to only use. You can't use a pronoun unless you're referring to the noun immediately
Previously before.
The closest, most close. I don't get the grammar lesson here, but if you take the time to look, you make very funny sentences where you're referring to the first noun that's not good. So this is the way the Mishnah read it. The Mishnah asks, when to say Shema at night, and it answers the start time is at 3 stars. It's a narrative, right? And then there's 3 shitas of the end time, either at the first third or half. It says the Chachamim, or the whole night, or during Gamliel. Right, this is the end time. It's like a narrative. It's just saying out the facts. Then it says, Maisa. Now, Maisa means like once upon a time. Once upon a time it happened that the story here. Ellipsis. 3 boys were up all night. They went to ask their dad. They said, Dad, what do we didn't say Kriya Shema yet. What do we do? And Dad responds, this is Rabbi Gamliel. There's the story first, and then Rabbi Gamliel. I'm doing English, like comment and a couple quotes. He says, if it's not dawn, you must recite it. I'll put that pronoun right over there. I needed it because so it is not talking about dawn, obviously. It's referring back to Shema. And that's my point. Anyways, the point is that it's ran out of space. You must recite Shema. Okay? End quote. Then the narrative resumes of the Mishnah. And it says, not only that's the pronoun. Lo zu bilvad, but every time the rabbis said until until midnight doing English. Really, again, okay, I can't do it. Really, the mitzvah goes till dawn. Okay, now, so the only direct, so yeah, so this I don't know if that's what it says. So the Gemara is going to be bothered by this. Wait a second. If the narrative of the narration of the Mishnah continues on by saying, it said, when to start, when to end, once the time it happened, or when Gamliel said, you have to start again, end quote, and then the Mishnah resumes the narration. Let's call that Rabbi Yehuda Nasi. That's how our school did it. If our school wanted to put a name to it, I like that. So let's say this is all Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, Rebbe, writing the Mishnah. This is Rabbi Gamliel piping in, because he's part of the story. He's like, he's in the story. And then Rabbi Yehuda Nasi resumes the Mishnah. Not only that, but every time the rabbi said it. So, fine. Now the issue is, if that's what Rabbi Yehuda Nasi is doing, the that, if it says not only that, refers to the immediate story before. Should. That's how you're going to read it. And the problem is, Rabbi Gamliel never talks about midnight. There's no midnight topic there. He's talking about dawn, full night. That's a period. I want the paint to draw here. You understand? Always you can't understand the Gemara. It's a very short piece, but that's what the Gemara is asking. The Gemara is saying, if you read the Mishnah, as you have in front of you, it's Rabbi Yehuda Nasi talking. He tells a story Rabbi Gamliel said about saying Shema, and then the Rabbi Gamliel Shita to talk about saying you can say it till the dawn. Then Rabbi Yehuda Nasi resumes the story and says, not only that, presumably what Rabbi Gamliel said, but every time the rabbi said till midnight, then till the dawn. But that is what we're talking about. We're talking about saying it the whole night. There's no mention of midnight in this sentence over here. That's the Gemara's question. But it's not so much. Well, obviously not, right? So that's the Gemara's question. And the Gemara's answer is going to be, because you're reading it wrong. What it means is, well, it's actually, when the Gemara gets on with it, it says, you're reading it wrong. The quote doesn't end here. This continues on with Rabbi Gamliel talking, and it ends over here. So then it's perfectly sensible. Rabbi Gamliel is saying, you're asking me, because implicit in your question that we saw last week, is the rabbis hold till midnight? So I'm telling you, really they agree with me, you have till the dawn. But when the rabbi said midnight, like every time, really you have. Not only that, not only in the case of Kriyashma, said Rabbi Gamliel to his kids, but the point is, the Gemara's question is based on the assumption that quotes end here. Rabbi Yehuda Nasi should have mentioned that somehow over here. Shouldn't have jumped down. It's ambiguous. It's confusing with the that. But it's like the zoo. The reason why I take the word amru out is because once the amru in, they say, is in there, because not only did they say that, so then it becomes really impossible to be ambiguous anymore. It's clearly we're talking about the rabbis from before. So that's what that word they say is taken out. Okay, fine. Anyway, so that's now to the Gemara side. It's a short little Gemara, but it's pretty impossible to understand without that. So the Gemara says here, we're on the tests. Again, Hamad Aleph, line. Did I say line 24? I was wrong, I'm sorry. Anyways, we're on line, let's say 18. Below Zul Bilvad, I apologize. Yeah, I sorry, I skipped. Below Zul Bilvad Amru, Ella, ... Now the Amru is out. So the Gemara now on line 18 says, Rabbi Gamliel, mi kamar chatzos. Was Rabbi Gamliel saying anything about chatzos, about midnight? The Katani Below Zul Bilvad, that he said, not only that, right? Why would Rebbe Yehuda Nasi say the words that, meaning zu, referring to what he had just said previously, Rabbi Gamliel, when Rabbi Gamliel had no mention of midnight at all? You get a question? It's a question. I feel like you can't really say you learn the Gemara unless you understand the question and the answer. To understand the question, you need to go through this rigmarole. That's the question, and that's why you see a little Bach Aleph there. He takes the word Amru out, because that's why he wants it out. So the Gemara answers, listen, Hachi Kamar Lahu. This is what Rabbi Gamliel said to them, Rabbi Gamliel of name. The words read, I feel the Rabanan, even according all the Mishnah the Gemara is doing are saying, in my words, don't put the quotes over there. It's not the quotes end at the word Shema and the Rebbe, the narrator resumed. It's that Rabbi Gamliel is continuing to talk to his sons and saying, you have to read Kriya Shema if it's not done yet. And not only that, continues Rabbi Gamliel, but every time the rabbi is, it's him talking, Rabbi Gamliel talking, not the narrator of the Mishnah talking. I feel, so that's it. So Hachik Amalul Rabbi Gamliel, this is Rabbi Gamliel talking to his boys. Afilu Rabbanan, even the rabbis, the Ka'amr Chatzos, when they said elsewhere that you have till midnight to say Kriya Shema, really mitzvah sa'ad shel shachar. That really the mitzvah is the whole night. It's just that they introduced this midnight limit for for K'til Harchikas Adam and Avera to keep people from doing sins. Bahai de Ka'amri ad Chatzos. Bahai de Ka'amri Chatzos. Says Rabbi Gamliel, the reason the rabbi said till midnight is K'til Harchikas Adam and Avera to keep people from doing sins. End quote. That's all. That's also yeah. Okay, it's ironing out. David, I think the answer to your question, like the real answer to your question, is in a world without Rashi and without just the text on its own merits and without any grammatical notes, like there's no quotes or commas, whatever it is, of course. So then the Gemara really is ambiguous. Like that's what you have to understand. That's the Gemara is worried about people misunderstanding the Gemara because of this zoo being ambiguous. If you're understanding out of the quote, okay, that's the whole piece. Moving on, we're done with that. Okay. We're not done with the shir, but we're done with that piece. Okay, the next piece, I'm going to do introduction for also. The Mishnah continues on to reach the end of the Mishnah. The Mishnah says, back on the base, on the Aleph, Velozu bilvad, not only that, Ela ko amru, Ela ko mash amru chachamim. Every time the rabbi said, Ad chatzos, that you have till midnight, mitzvasan ad she'ela ad shachar. You have a mitzvah to do the mitzvah till the morning, which isn't just Kriya Shema. It includes also hekter chalavim ve'evarim. The burning, haktara is like burning to make smoke. Chalavim, the fats, and evarim, the limbs of shtawi and ola. The mitzvasan ad she'ela ad shachar. The mitzvah is till the dawn, not till midnight. Even though, let's assume for a second, without getting to that kasha, that the rabbi said midnight for these things. Which is contingent, it doesn't matter. And same goes v'chol nechal no mechad. Same goes all korbanos that are eaten in one day. I'll explain in a moment, right? But the cutoff is at dawn. Still, the mitzvah midorais is ad she'ela shachar is until break of dawn. But the rabbi said, finish eating your korban by chatzos. In Cain, if it's true that the in Cain is if that's true, what's that? If that's true that the mitzvah is the whole night, why do they say till midnight? Answer to the Harchis Adam and Avera to tell people that to protect people from doing sins. That's the information.
Is that part of what Rabbi Gamliel said, or that goes back to what you said?
Rabbi Gamliel. So Labaskana, to the end. And the story from Maisa, from Rabbi Gamliel says, quote, until now, the end of the Mishnah, it's all Rabbi Gamliel talking. After the Gemara, after this sugya that we said a moment ago. Yeah. So the Gemara is bothered by something. I'm saying it outside first. The Gemara is bothered by the question of, okay, you made a list of a few things that you have all night to do, and yet the rabbi said cut it short. So, and this is the list. The list is Kriya Shema, burning the fats and limbs, and eating the korbanos. So the Gemara is going to be worried about the korban pesach. What's the korban pesach? Because the Gemara's assumption is, you'll see in a moment, that you have all night to eat the korban pesach. There's only an issue of the Raban and chatzos. So even the korban pesach is different than these other things because it doesn't have the same time frame, as I'll explain in a moment, as other korbanos. Here we said everything's eaten in one. The last thing was the korbanos that are eaten in one day. The mitzvahs till chatzos, midorabanan, midoraisa the whole night. So what's bothering the Gemara in our sugya and Daf Tes is the time frame for a pesach is different. Yeah, let me explain the background, then we'll see it again. It'll be fair. Okay, so let's look at our korbanos for a minute. Korbanos. For those of you who learned touching with me in the morning, how many kinds of korbanos are there? 8. Thank you, Baruch. Remember any of them?
Pesach is the last one.
Ola,
Chatas,
Chatas,
Shlomim,
Shlamim, What else did you say?
Something is the
Pesach, the Pesach, yeah. The Toda, good. This order is because it's parallel order we did in Mishnah Shir way back when. That's not, I'm not crazy. Yeah?
What's the symmetry?
We have it simple. But anyways, here it is. Yeah, the Toda, what else? The Asham, thank you. The Asham's over here. Then we have the Bechor and the Meiser. Okay, those are the 8 kinds of Karbanos in the discussion. There aren't other kinds of Karbanos. Zvachim. This is the list of Zvachim. There's a line over here. What's that line for? Yeah, right. These are called Kadshei. And these are called Kadshei. Okay, now, good. Now, actually, I need to take this one. Good. So let's talk about the time frame for eating these things. How long do you have? Actually, let's take it. How long do you have to eat an olive?
As long as it takes to say it.
That's a trick question.
No, you don't.
Yeah, that's right. You don't eat olive. It's irrelevant. Okay, it's not relevant. There's no eating olive. It's all burned.
It's fully burned.
It's fully burned. That's what an olive is. Right. How long do you have to eat a chatas?
That's right.
So you have. It's called 1 day.
1 day, 1 night.
And what 1 day means? 1 day. That's our Mishnah. Oh, we have to eat in 1 day. What that means is like this. Here's our timeline. Our timeline is going this way today. I'm sorry, it's not counterintuitive though. Okay, so here's what happens. You sometime during the day, you do the shkita, do the offering, whatever, the whole hakrava, the whole offering done. Okay, and then here is the 3 stars.
Cooking.
There's 3 stars coming out. So from when you offer it, you have the rest of this day, that's the 1 day, the rest of that day, and then you have, here is sunrise coming up, so you have also the night. Okay? Really it's until Olos Shachar. But the Rabban, we're saying it's till midnight. So when the midoraisa, if you offer a chatas, you have 1 day, that means you have the rest of that day, and then you have midoraisa the whole night till it's a shachar. But the rabbi said finish it by chatzos, lest you eat it past her, because there's an isser karas of eating past the deadline. So push it back. That's what it means 1 day. The time frame for the asham is it's also 1 day.
Yeah.
By the way, we mentioned a couple times in Brachos, it's worth emphasizing here, that the normal, remember on Daf base, and discuss this at length, that the normal cycle is via Erev, via Boker, that night precedes the day. We said in Karbanos is different. You see, here's another example, that the 1 day, the day is coming before the night. You see that? Anyways. So Asham also is 1 day, which means from when you offer it until the next morning. The Shlamim, how long do you have? Shlamim, you have 2 days. Now, what does that mean exactly? So what that means is, okay, you got, this is day 1, then day 2, here's what happens. Okay, here's essentially, here's my 3 stars of day 2. Okay? Understand? So it's sometime today on Sunday afternoon, you're makriv your shlamim, you have the rest of the day to eat it, and then the whole of, you eat it all of tonight, Sunday night, and all of Monday, tomorrow, Yom Sheni, until the end of probably the sun setting, because it would be ready like Shabbos, the clock stops, right? The whole lot on the rest of the day. So the second day is a whole day, and the first day is just a partial day from when you offered it until that day. That's what 2 days mean. 1.5 is really. There's no durabbanan to cut this short, because you don't need to, because you can see when the sun is setting. Like Shabbos, you know when your time is running out. Not true by the 1 day when it's the sun first light already makes it too late. We discussed that. So Shlam is 2 days. The Toda.
When is offering? After it's fully cooked, or when you throw?
Oh, you can eat it as soon as you get it. In fact, you have to. Technically, the matir, the thing that makes it edible, is the offering of the blood. The blood rishon is veil. That's a technical point. But whenever you can eat it whenever you get it, assuming it was done properly.
Uh-huh.
But my point is, if they had lightning fast Kohanim, in theory, at the 6:01 when the sun is up, they could offer the Talmud at 6:02. They could offer your Shlomim, and you can have the whole day from 6:02 a.m. the whole way long. In theory, I'm saying in theory, whatever it is. But the days is the rest of that day. Whenever you get it,
Right.
the Toda. You remember how the time frame of that one is? It's back to one day, which is strange. That was the Nitzib I told you more than once. I don't get into it now. It doesn't matter. The Toda is one day, like the Asham and the Chatas. The Bechor and the Mice are 2 days. 2 days. Okay, so that's the story here. But the Pesach is different. The Pesach, when you do the Hakrava of the Pesach, when do you do it? What day? The offering of the Pesach
The day
on
before
Yudalad, on 14th.
Yeah,
But
Erev
the-
Pesach.
Those ladies are coming 20 minutes early. That's ridiculous. Come on, 20 minutes early? Okay. What?
These are my deep things.
Yeah. Anyways, so sure, it's 1/4 past. Anyways, so the Pesach is offered on the 14th, but it can't be eaten until the 15th, until the Seder night.
Right.
So it's different. You can't call it 1 day or 2 days. It's a different story. Okay, even if its ending time is that's not the Gemara's full question. The Gemara is starting out the assumption. The Mishnah didn't discuss that case, and we're assuming you have a Machlokas, you have till the morning until Chatzot. But either way, whatever it is, it's a different time. It's a different time, so it's not in our Mishnah. And the assumption is that you have until the morning. I know what you know about Chatzot. Leave the Chatzot out. We'll see the Machlokas tonight in a second. But so the Gemara's kasha is going to be: why is our Mishnah talking about things you have a whole night to do? What happened to the Korban Pesach? You also have a whole night to do the Korban Pesach. Maybe these are the Raban until midnight. But there's no mention of. It's a hektar chalav be'var, and everything eaten in 1 day. There's no mention of the Korban Pesach there. There's no mention of 2 days there. Why? Because those are in the morning, those are in the night. So it's not, it doesn't belong. So the question is, what happens to Pesach? That's what Gemara is bothered by. And the Gemara will answer. We'll see this is the first opening ping pong right now, because it goes ping pong's a little bit. The Gemara will say, oh, well, it's a machlokas, actually. One Tana holds that you have until the morning, and one Tana held you have just until midnight. And because of that, our Mishnah is going like the Tana holds, it goes till midnight, and therefore it's a non-starter. That's why I didn't mention our Mishnah, because it's not relevant to Pesach. And you're bringing me Kasha or Brisa, well, it's another Tana that Tana holds you have the whole night, but he disagrees, it's not Tana in our Mishnah. That's it. So we'll see the opening words, and tomorrow we'll do the whole ping pong back and forth. What it says here, the tests again. Now we're talking on line 20, last word 23. It says hektar chalavim v'chulei. So on 24 it says, okay, you told me all the things the rabbi said you have the whole night to do. But v'ilu achilas psachim lo katani. What happened to that one? What happened to mentioning eating the Korban Pesach, which you have the whole night to do? V'ramini, and it was like, remember we said bring a contrasting Tanaitic source. This is a brisa which says Kriyashma are there's no point in going on. But we'll stop here, and tomorrow we'll pick up the piece. That's why we paved the way. Okay, yes, sure.